Man, if Venezuela can't survive with their state-owned petroleum industry, what makes you think that we can survive with the state forcing us to be dependent on wind and solar power while forcing us to be dependent on foreign oil? Hey, Sean Penn, where you at, man? Haven't you heard what's going on in Venezuela? Weren't you and Hugo Chavez like bosom buddies? Share the wealth, man. Give them all your money. Don't you have enough money?
According to the Bernie cult, you do.
And you, Danny Glover, all those broke people down in Venezuela, and you gonna take your rich behind down there and have Hugo Chavez give you like $18 million to make a movie. Now, according to your liberal narrative, don't those people need that money a lot more than you do? Why don't you give that $18 million back to them along with your rich socialist Hollywood liberal buddies, pull your money together, get down to Venezuela, and share the wealth? But of course you're not gonna do that.
Because liberals expect other people to live up to their worldview, not themselves.
It would be great if you Bernie bots would take a lesson from this.
But collectivists always think that they can do socialism better.
Yeah, but it's democratic socialism.
We're gonna vote for serfdom democratically as opposed to it being forced on us.
And when we feel that the people aren't paying their fair share, then we'll demand that the government come at them with guns and make them.
We have to get tough on the 1%ers. Their greed will not be tolerated.
No, it's not greed if we use the state to force other people to give up their money for us.
We just have to be more aggressive and assertive and let the rich know that we're not playing around. Oh, what are you talking about? This has never been done before. Hitler killed a bunch of people, but he wasn't a socialist. How dare you?
Wait, what? Hitler was a socialist?
See, that's my whole point. We're gonna do it better.
I hear these burn victims say the same things over and over again, man. It's not fair that this person has that much. Y'all really don't get it that what someone else has is not the core of your problems.
Envy and covetousness is at the core of your problems, but not what somebody else has.
What's happening in Venezuela is a picture of what's gonna happen to America if we have to keep going down this road of the collectivist model. You collectivist liberals are the same as Judas. Judas, like you, thought he was more righteous than Jesus Christ.
Judas, like you, rebukes people for having their own property.
Judas, like you, assumes to tell other people what they should do with their property. Judas, like you, wants to make it look like everybody should be paying their fair share.
To contribute to the treasury.
All the while thinking he was entitled to dip into the treasury a little bit more, like you.
And when you have people like Judas who violate the commandment to not covet other people's property
and institute the taking of other people's property, then you have made it a law to break God's law. And what's the result? Well, like Judas, Venezuela is committing suicide.
They sold each other out, just like Judas sold Jesus out.
One of the saddest and contradicting things to see is musicians and entertainers in general supporting Bernie Sanders in the Democrat Party. The artist is always talking about their integrity and how they're not going to sell out because they want sovereignty over their intellectual property and maintain creative control. Meanwhile, they're demanding socialism, which means the state becomes the owner, not you.
You don't like the idea of anybody else owning your stuff, but you're voting for someone else to own your stuff. Okay.
Y'all hadn't really thought through what socialism and collectivism is, have you? You hate it so much that somebody else owns stuff that you would actually vote to have your freedom to own stuff taken away just so they can't own stuff either.
I don't like it that that person has like 5 houses, and I don't like it that the person has like 5 cars and a yacht and an airplane.
Meanwhile, you're not thinking that in order for that person to have those things, that person has to give out jobs. You gotta hire a person to fly the plane. You gotta hire people to upkeep the plane. You gotta hire people to keep maintenance on that yacht. You gotta hire people to build houses. You gotta hire people to keep them yards up. Man, get up here in the Zoloft and get your head right.